Hello, I'm Noah. You might recognize me from a certain video, even though you probably don't. That video being So I Shot Her Anyway, with 10 million views. This is gonna be my legacy, and I fucking hate it. So, other than making really bad videos that get like millions of views, I'm also an indie game dev, and I made some games such as Super Mario Bros.
Wow.
That's the only game I publish, unless you look at all my Roblox games. Mostly, if not solely, a Unity dev, but with the mess of John
Ricciello.
I've now moved to Godot. Bye bye old project, hello new projects. Maybe I'll go back to the old projects since, you know, that whole mess is over now, but, you know, motivation. The new project is a survival horror game set in rural Australia. You know, that place. I originally got the idea of making a horror game in general from a certain art style I want to use. That art style being retro CGI. You know, CGI such as this and this. I've been very interested by this type of CGI because first of all, it does look scary, and like even in like new games you don't see this type of CGI anymore because it was better than PS1 graphics, but it's worse than the graphics we have right now. I figured out how to make like a bunch of shaders and stuff to imitate the look, so here you go. So basically there's three types of vectors we need to make, you know, lighting bounce off an object. You need the vector of the light itself, the vectors of how the light bounces off a object, and the vector of the camera. These three things are major things you need to be able to produce lighting. Function is one of the first shaders that actually achieved this, where it actually looks good. So, and function shadings basically you get the ambience, the diffuse and spec, and you add it all together to get the final product, which is the lighting. Ambience is easy because it's the ambience, there's no lighting. So we need to do is just get the intensity of the ambience and the color of the ambience and times it together. For the diffuse, you need the light vector and normal vectors. Normal being the model, like how light bounces off the model, and then you get the unit vectors of those. You get the dot product of those two vectors, and then you times it with the intensity and color of the diffuse part. And for spec, instead of getting the dot product of light and normal vectors, you get the dot product of the camera vector and the reflection vector, which is just a formula of like where you use the light and normal, and then you times it by intensity and color. This gives you the final, which is literally just the most basic shader ever, and it looks pretty bad, especially in modern times, but it's pretty interesting, especially when you make it highly customizable, especially when like you can make ambience like orange or something. That looks pretty cool. So the first thing I did, other than, you know, making shaders for like a game that doesn't exist yet, was make the controls, which is very simple. It's literally just tank controls because it's a survival horror. So it's basically left and right to turn the player, and up and down to move the player, and that's pretty much it. If you want to know how I made it, in like most game engines, all you need to do is just get the inputs of, you know, what you're clicking, and then you can just rotate the game object and it will move in that direction. But for some reason, Godot didn't do that and instead just moved it straight. So I had to do a little bit of trigonometry, basic high school trigonometry, where you just get the sine and cos, where sine is up and down of an angle and cos is left and right of an angle. And then I just basically moved the character based on the sine and cos to move at the angle. And that's how I got past Godot for some reason not moving the character locally based on rotation. After I created the player controls, I made the player character. Now, you might think this looks very creepy and ugly and yikes, but I mean, like, early 3D CGI people look like this and this. So I think this is, this isn't because I'm bad at 3D modeling people. It's representative of the early CGI. I also created animations as seen here, and then I put it in Godot and hooked it up to everything, put on my shaders, and voila. Now after making all of that, I'm gonna show a video of speed modeling one of the enemies in my game, which I will show you right now, of this funny dog, of this scary dog I made. Now you might be wondering, why the hell am I making the model of the enemy before, making the AI of the enemy? Duh, this is a YouTube video. How the hell am I supposed to make those clickbaity thumbnails? So here you go. As seen in this clip, I am using something called metaballs, which are a very simple and easy way to connect like spears together, because Chuckney is complete hell to try and like put these spears together while looking good and actually being able to connect it together. So the benefit of that is just being able to merge everything, to morph everything together without opening up like the scoping tool. But a downfall is that it's very hard to work with after you convert it into a mesh, because it's literally just a mess. It's just a mess of polygons. So as you see, you kind of see me fiddle with all the metaballs after I convert it back into a mess. With this creature, I wanted to kind of create, I kind of want to subvert expectations, where he's very slow, but he's also kind of long range. So you approach him thinking it's completely fine and he's completely safe to approach. And then you get attacked and you're like, what the hell? Because horror games are pretty much just subverting your expectations. And because I wanted the creature to be long range, that's why I made him look very springy and slinky like. And his attack animation would really just be him expanding or stretching and then attacking the player. Off camera, I textured and created a normal map for it, for the creature. Right now I'm just calling it a hound dog, but I mean, you can tell me what I should call it in the comments. And subscribe also. See ya.